But compared with the Rampage, which it is going to be, I can see it happening. The Rock into the Silence is a very strong combo.
Yeah, it isn't off kilter pick, but if this is something that Capo really likes and can really pilot well, it could definitely work, right? Drongo's not necessarily bad, he's just not maybe as popular as some of the more meta picks into this carry role.
Yeah, we've seen the Murloc, we've seen the Sparrow, we've seen the Revenant today as well. There's plenty of good carry picks at the moment, which is why it was so interesting to see it so early on. But enough about that for the moment. We're now into the game, Blazy. We can talk about draft picks as much as we want, but it all comes down to the map. First game in the final group. Both of these teams have definitely the chance to win this game, I feel like. So it is going to be down to execution.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Spain and Italy, I don't think have even been premiered on the stream yet in the tournament, so it'll be interesting to see how they play. Some of these players are known to us, and it's already going to be a fight over here in the offlane. Vapor very low. Lugia takes very big control of the offlane early on.
Bale level 1 is just so strong, you don't ever really fight in it unless you got something like Yurei, which is going to be in the jungle instead. So Lugia should have control in this early game, but we might see a gank come out from this Yurei in a moment, considering doing the fight camp, but that water should dissuade her at the moment.
It'll just be a scrap here. Lugia already a level up, but that will just be that wave. The experience is still there for Vapor if they're able to claim it outside of the tower. Not that that will impact the experience much. Tell me a little bit about this mid lane dichotomy here. Lieutenant Bellica, not necessarily a pick that we see all too often. Argus, a little bit more popular, but how does this matchup normally play out?
For the moment, Argus really wants to get to level 9, get that particle shredder to make it infinite, whilst Bellica, you just want to farm up to that level 6, have that new, that Synatic... Let me try that again, that Neural Disruptor ultimate, have that silence available, so if Dark Dodo goes into that Synatic Obliterate, you can cancel him out of it. But recently, I don't think much is going to happen in this mid unless there is some sort of jungle interference. Going to continue just going on whilst we have a little bit of an issue maybe, but either way we're going to get a rotation out of user. So this Rampage jungle is going to Rampage support, sorry, just see it so often in the jungle while I get confused. It's going to start rotating in, so we're going to get a 3-man collapse into the mid lane. Flammer needs to be careful here.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage coming through, and I'm not sure how much Flammer can realistically do about it. They will blink away back under the tower, but nothing to do, and it will be Italy to claim first blood here. Spain on the back foot here, 3.5 minutes into the game.
I mean, we were talking about who's going to support. I guess all three can also jungle if that happens. User already going for the early rotations, may continue as the game goes on over. The only issue with that is Capo is a level behind right now on this Drongo. However, Drongo is one of the safer carries. Once you get that level 6, you have that shrapnel cannon, have that CC immunity within that ultimate. Plus the boomerang should be more than enough to deal with these waves in the early game.
Left hand side, it looks like the pressure here very much favoring Spain, despite the rockability that Ryuza can push out onto the board. Raichu just has a bit more presence, and with that wave going under tower, it's down to Spain to figure out what they want to do with this space elements. However, speaking of space, has been spaced out of his own jungle. 2 players of Italy are here, a full level his senior, and they're taking this farm. Nothing you can do about it.
That's going to be a good invade from Italy, and also right now in the off lane we have control of Italy as well. The Bale is doing strong work into this Krang. However, the HP bar isn't looking as favorable at the moment in time. Vapor should be able to do something. Doesn't miss the judgment of the heavens though. It's going to have to fight without the tether.
Vapor nearly picks up the kill there onto Lugia, but the jump away will save the life of the offlaner this time around. But it's a good It's a good portrayal of what could be on the cards later on. Charging forward, Conte in a bit of trouble, but Steel has the CC, but not quite the damage to deal with the jungler. Just resetting off the back of that now, Spain back into a neutral position. I wonder if we could take a look at the gold differential between these two teams here 5 minutes in, because both of these squads seem like they're farming up pretty well, minus that first blood.
Yeah, the first blood Dark Dodo has the 500 gold lead, has got that alchemical wand stacking up, but we're not going to see any other differences right now. Capo has done a good job of, considering he has been in this duo lane on his own for quite a while, only 200 gold down, and that's mainly due to the fact that there is a sizable wave currently standing near Spain's tower line. However, with the Fangtooth being up for a minute already, both junglers not looking towards it at the moment in time. Elements is getting invaded. Conte has the level advantage, has got that ultimate available, but there is multiple members of Spain nearby.
Just taking the red buff here. Elements wants to claim that. The mid lane could be in some trouble, but Flammer is safe under tower at this current moment. Elements, on the other hand, really needs to get to level 6. He's a little behind on the curve. His counterpart has already hit that mark. We're starting to see a little bit of a level difference starting to build here in favor of Italy. Yeah, the gold might not be all that different, but in terms of levels, we're looking at least one here in the off lane, in the jungle, and one in the mid lane as well. On the flip side of that, though, over here in the duo, there is a bit of an advantage over towards the Spanish side. Elements does make his way to mid, but Dark Dodo will be just fine.
I love that instant blink from Dark Dodo, not want to lose any sort of HP or mana in this moment of the game because of that Fangtooth threat. If he goes too low to force that reset, then that means that Italy or Spain gets a chance to go for the Fangtooth. But because he still has full HP, full mana, he can continue farming up, have that presser in the mid lane. But talk about the duo side here. King going very low against Capo. Capo using that shrapnel cannon, going for that level 6 burst that we all know and love on the Drongo. Isn't enough at the moment in time, but is going to force the reset.
Yeah, he's fine for now. Not dead, but might lose a little bit. Or would have done if Raichu wasn't around here to hold this wave for his carry player. Ryuza is still here though. It's a two-person push. I'm so a jungle pilled for Rampage. I was about to say it's a bit of a gank attempt, but no, he's supposed to be here. In fact, actually, Raichu just looking to get a bit aggressive. Elements has made his rotation over. Flammat may have fallen in the mid lane, but the ultimate stunned away from the Yuri. It's going to be Rampage to slow that one down, but Murdoch from the distance. King Moore will claim credit for that one, and Spain finally answers back.
It's a 1v1. Vapor is in the mid lane. Dark Dodo gone very low, but it's not going to be chased. They don't know where Conte is, so they're going to play it safe. Going to deal with this mid lane. We know, obviously, from the spectator that Conte here had to reset himself, but with that Zaros not being on ward, he didn't want to go for the 2v1, didn't want to go for the threat. And you know, the Fangtooth's been left just so long, Blaze, right now, that the mini pipe is spawned. So the Conte is going to start up with that whilst they have Lugia push off this off lane again, might then go over to the mini prime, give it this over to the Bale. But with the way things are going right now, I think this is getting to Zaros.
Yeah, it looks like it has, in fact, gone into the hands of Conte, and while you would hope that Spain would be able to grab that opening and maybe make a play towards the Fangtooth, the positioning not quite right for the Spanish squad to make their way over. Now, potentially rotating over Flammer, but it will just be the jungle buff, the river buffs. Before moving back over towards mid, it's been a bit of a slow one here. Italy feel like they're starting to bleed Spain out a little bit by 1,000 cuts. Conte and Dodo are coming back for this invade. It's just Elements here.
Yeah, and they've also got another fight in the duo side as Cynatic Obliterate gets hit onto Elements 2 shots land, but not enough damage to go for. And it's interesting, using the mini prime to go for the invade again, and this UA even further behind. The off lanes go so low. Vapor on about 200 HP. Conte misses the spear because he stopped, but the auto attacks will be enough. That is going to be another kill given over to Zaros. I feel like Conte is starting to come online, and Blazy, look in the bottom right. Look at that build from Zaros. That's a Solaris. That's a crit chance item on this Zaros. He is not going bruiser. He's not going tanky. He is going full assassin.
Yeah, and I think he has the space to do so, right? He's got some teammates around him that will facilitate that playstyle. Ryuza has made his way over, but Spain, they're able to finally put an objective on the board. Fangtooth taken away by the Spanish squad as the War of the Mediterranean wages on. And it's, I'm not sure how that really plays out in terms of evening out this scoreboard, but at the very least, it's something to help stem the bleeding.
It gives a bit of global experience, global goal. The problem is with that is how late that first Fangtooth was taken. That's at 10 minutes. Sometimes we expect that to be the second Fangtooth at that stage of the game. So final Fangtooth, it's not going to be around till probably the 25-minute mark. Going to have all five up for quite a while. So that's going to impact the game quite heavily, especially towards Spain, who wants to look towards those 3 Fangtooth buffs now. Get that extra out of combat move speed on the second and those offensive and defensive stats on the third. But Italy, they got plenty of time to scale up and get more items, more gold base, more experience before that can happen.
Hovering over towards the left-hand side, Zaris is waiting to pounce on Murdoch, who is pushing a little too far up. Raichu is around, but not close enough. Kingmore has been isolated. Raichu caught in the jungle up against Ryuza. It's heartbreaking. His carry has fallen. In Italy, yet again, another kill for Conte, another buff for Conte, another camp for Conte. Feed the Zaris right now, level 9, bursting ahead of the Spanish jungler.
We might feed elements here. Lugia is very low, no blink, no ulti available, but Dark Dodo's making the rotation out. He is going to get caught between 2 players, though. He's going to have to run away from elements and Flammer. Whilst that's all happening, Bale being on the safe side. These offlaners have been fighting so often. Now, I don't think that HP bars have gone above half from most of this game. But again, we're going to get the reset from both of them. They're going to return back to their bases, get that HP back up so they can fight once again.
Try and farm. That's exactly what they need to do. Dark Dodo and Conte are around. No major objectives left on the map. They do try and go for this invade, but it's smart from Elements to take it away on cooldown. Make sure that it cannot be taken. And now they don't have the timer for it, so it's a little bit more space for Elements to breathe. Conte looking a little bit for more attack, more ganks onto the Bellica. Not going to find them. It looks like Spain are doing kind of exactly what they need to do. And let's play a little bit more passively, farm up, and come back into this, because they've got a team comp that can definitely scale up into the late game.
Spain definitely wanted to slow this game down, not even for the Fangtooth, but just from the scaling as well, as you said. There's a decent amount on this team. Yes, Zaris is going to be okay in the late game, but Bale's more of an early game character. This Rampage's support is not going to have the items to properly tank, and the later game goes, Murdoch is probably going to be better in terms of that carry position compared to the Drongo. So Dark Dodo is kind of Italy's late game hyper beast to deal with the side of Spain about the half an hour mark. So we'll have to see if it gets that point. But Italy, they really want to start increasing the tempo, start looking towards these towers, because the platings have fallen down. They're easy to take now. So with Conte's help, that's going to be their next objective.
A lot of damage traded off from the offlaners. Elements is here, but has stepped on a ward, which will trigger the retreat from Lugia. Just a bit of pressure, and that might be enough just to give Kwang a little bit more breathing room. Ultimate popped, bigger Rampage on the left-hand side. Conte is lurking, but look, Capo de Capi is very low on HP right now. Laser Beam will come through, and the snipe claims credit for Drongo. 2 more players have rotated over towards the left-hand side. Italy is here in force. Bellica has made the rotation as well. And if they can find some more damage, Spain could be in for a reversal of fortunes here.
They need to really back up right now, Italy. You've got Elements in the mid lane. You've got Bellica also looking around. You've got Flammer just being in that corner. Kingmore is in a good position right now. 2-1 in terms of kills. 140 CS at 14-minute marks is on point and has got that 2.5 items, nearly a second item completed with that bank. With the Fangtooth spawning, mini farms also spawning right now. Are we going to get some sort of trade-off? Spain obviously want to go for that Fangtooth, as we've been stressing, but Italy, they can look towards this mini farm, try and get these towers down, get that golden experience lead for that third Fangtooth fight.
So you think that they would rather go for the mini prime? Actually, hold on to that thought. Lugia in a lot of trouble here, but a blink away will save his life. Back to the question at hand.
I mean, with elements zone in the off lane, they obviously will run towards the Fang Tooth. That's going to be started up. And instead, Spain is the one who's going to get that mini prime. So yeah, 1-for-1 in terms of the objectives traded out compared to last time. Who this benefits more is hard to really gauge. This starts Spain's Fang Tooth stacking. But if they can use this mini prime with the extended time from the first Fang Tooth's duration to take down 1 or 2 towers, that golden experience is going to be very valuable coming into this mid game.
Gets put on to Vapor, so really looking to stem the, I wouldn't say stem the bleeding, but is behind over here on the right-hand side of the map, a full 700 gold and about 10 CS. It's mainly been down to the death that he's got, but they haven't quite been able to return the favor of. So putting that mini prime on him will give him a bit more space to breathe.
They should be able to get this tower unless anything goes bad. But King will blinking away from the Colosseum. Double ult from Raichu. 2 big boys are blocking Murdoch's damage right now. He has got 2 items, but he hasn't got any sort of pen outside of that flat penetration from the Vanquisher. So needs really another item, maybe 2, before he can start getting through this Zara's, through this Rampage. Though, to be fair, Blazing, I completely forgot that Conte is a madman, as has gone this build on the Zaras, hasn't got any sort of armor whatsoever, has got a decent amount of HP though, and with this tower going low, King will have to be very careful.
Yeah, but look at the rotation. Everyone is here, minus Quang, but that includes Dark Dodo. They'll find him off here in the river crossing, but it's a full retreat from Team Italy. Steel is trying to get all the way up in the mix, but the disengage will be good enough. Italy will walk away unscathed, and actually Lugia will make sure that they are better than unscathed. They'll take down the offlaner, even though Mini Prime was locked down. Dodo claims Kingmore, and that's a 2-for-none trade for Italy.
And they're pushing in as well. Spain needs to get that retreat quickly. There's no real ultimates from the Spider. Spain, but to get the CC onto Elements, gonna dash away. Raichu gonna trade as much space as he can on this steel. Conte going around the outside whilst that's all happening. Lugia, who we thought was going to have the advantage in the offlane with that mini prime, dies. That means the first tower of the Vapor dies. So Lugia is going to get that first tower in the game. Whilst this is happening as well, Italy pressing down the Zero side.
Raichu in a lot of trouble, can't quite make it up, and now it's left time for Conte to catch him in the Colosseum. Now charging forward still. No armor, as you mentioned, just pure damage. He's going to take so much, but he's able to make it out alive just fine. No one's trying to retreat except the long arm of the law will come for you in the end. Conte falls, and that's a massive shutdown for King Moore.
That's some revenge right there. That's another buff on to Murdoch, another kill. And that's going to be a good standing. Look at that HP tower. HP on the tower for the side of Italy. It is so low. King Moore should be able to take this down if he wants to, but you have to be careful. You don't know where the enemy team is. It is so dangerous to walk up as a lone Murdoch. So he's going to play it safe. Look for the gold buff. Go for the reset. Spend that gold. Go towards that tainted blade.
He needs it. Sorry. That's okay. Everything that he can get. Flammer in the mid lane, actually, based on those rotations from Dodo, has caught up a little bit. Not in terms of gold, but in terms of the XP. Still a little under 2,000 gold behind here in the mid lane is where we are seeing the biggest deficit. Flammer has just really struggled to recover after that first gank early on in the game. Up against an Argus, it's definitely not the position that you want to be in. This character can scale up so well and just deal so much damage to you. Flammer is walking over towards the left-hand side, potentially just to try and clear this river buff. And everything's just calm for now. Oh, other than the offlane, but when are the offlane players not fighting?
Offlane loves to fight. That is all they do. And whilst that duo continues, I do want to see if we can get a minute, but I don't think we will, to have a conversation. Capo using that Spectral Cannon on to multiple members. Elements is also nearby. The tower dive is possible, but this gives a chance again for Conte to take another objective on the map. That's going to be safer. That's going to be more push on to the rest of the map. And with that third Fang Tooth spawning as well, that's going to create a decision. Do Spain fight this, or do they deal with the macro?
Blink has gone up. Elements is looking for the kill, and Caccio will be... Caccio e Pepe, that's not quite the right name, but he's a cheese. All right, Raichu now in a little bit of trouble. King Moore has to take the bouncer out. Zaris is here, and look at the damage he's able to pour through. Elements narrowly avoids getting locked into the Colosseum, and now all three players have made their way onto the launch pad just in time, potentially, for the mini prime. It's here. I mean, the Fangtooth is as well, but I'm not sure there's much room for Spain to counter on this.
There's 20 minutes. That's the big orb fire. There's no chance of taking that with just 3 members. There is no jungle nearby. That is going to be an easy Fangtooth taken for the side of Italy. They don't really care that the kills were taken away because they just ran to the other side of the map. And now, like I said, 20 minutes, that orb 5 has spawned. The final Fangtooth's not going to be up for another 5 to 6 minutes. So we have some time, have some space to play around that, have that classic EU dance with those wards. But there is still plenty of tier 1 towers to take on this map as well. Mid lane is going to be sieged down, but with a Dark Dodo returning, this should be defended pretty easily.
Yeah, not too much risk. Spain really did not want to throw into that. Vapor has just been stunned blind twice by Dark Dodo. That's got to feel some kind of way as we see the grouping starts coming over towards the left-hand side. Zaris is yet again coming onto the left, but in the mid lane, it is in fact a target down onto Argus. Dodo has so little HP, but Vapor might fall down to the tower. Dodo only has 1 health, but there's no one around to finish it off.
Argus too tanky. How did he lift that? That was multiple ults on to the dwarf, but he survives. The tower probably not going to be so lucky. But whilst that's all happening, we got multiple members of Italy pressing on this duo side King Moore by his lonesome. We got the bruisers inbound. Good luck, Merlin.
Oh no, yeah, that's yeah, I don't know that I can accurately describe what I just witnessed on the left-hand side without getting this channel banned on Twitch. Just know that it was uncomfortable to watch, looked painful from the outside, and drastically, woefully unfair and outnumbered. Now, they have left Bale behind here. Spain could try to maybe full commit onto the offlaner, but too tanky for now, and they understand the real threat is this massive rotation to the right-hand side where the Orb Prime is already at half.
Lucia just called out, I have multiple members over here. Start it. You have Drongo, you have Argus. There is so much clear tight speed on this team for the side of Italy. That's going to be the Orb Prime taken. Nothing in response from the side of Spain. They can reset, they can buy, they can start shooting down. There's 2 tier 2 towers for them to take before those inhibitors. It's probably going to be a 4-1 push. Bale in the off lane, everyone else in that mid side. And right now, looking at what Spain has to really deal with the siege, and it's not much. A lot of this clear is very close range. That Void Bomb is really the only thing that they have to deal with this long-range assault.
So what's the counter argument here from Spain? Italy. Now, and I you know, I'm going to return to my earlier statement, Falcon, and say that this game has very much felt like a death by 1,000 cuts. Spain slowly been bled dry by these rotations from Conte on the Zaris. What's the response now? What does Spain need to do to patch up the cuts and make a comeback here against Italy?
They just need to play it slow. They need to let this buff try and run out. But they look like they might be going for a pick. Elements is waiting in the side, say with Raichu. Ryu's just going to catch them out. They know where he is. Conte going to dive right in. They can't go for a straight 5v5 team fight. That's not going to work with the amount of frontline Italy has. And instead, they need to probably just give up this tier 2 now.
Conte stunned out, up and down on steel. The CC's pretty good. They've caught one off guard. Capo has already fallen down, but the damage traded back towards Spain is sufficient enough to make them think twice about continuing that chase, even though Conte is tantalizingly low on health. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side, this split up from Italy has worked incredibly well to their favor. They've been able to pressure now 2 different sides. Lama with a long-range knock-up. Dodo, no chance in the grave.
Never mind, Spain. I take my words back. You're doing great. Continue doing what you're doing. You lost the off-lane tier 2 tower, but that's fine. You didn't lose an inhibitor. You have multiple members down. You got a good amount of shock downs there as well. You need to make sure that you spend the gold, push out these waves. You got the or dual lane, I'm not entirely sure if that's present into let elements deal with that. The same with this off lane. Make sure that Lucia can't go for that inhibitor, and then you want to look towards this primal Fangtooth. You cannot let Italy take that, because not only will they get the primal burn, they will get that free Fangtooth buff as well. So this is the very most pivotal moment of this game, Blazy.
Yeah, it will really come down to this next fight. How well it goes will determine Spain's future. Fangtooth is being positioned for, and I think Spain, they have to try and fight for this, right? Surely there's no way they can let this one go for free.
They have to fight this. They have to go for it. But whilst we have a minute, Blazy, I want to go back to 10 minutes prior, before all that craziness happened, because Flower's build is very, what's the word? I'm going to go for interesting. Confident Spectral Schematics, second item, Living Crown in the third item slot, and going for the Corsica last. But the Spectral Schematics doesn't really work on Bellica. It only procs on her primary ability, the Seismic Sword. I believe it doesn't work on the Silence from the Nil Disruptor. I understand why Flammer's looking towards it, wants that HP damage, but instead I feel like if they wanted that, Megacosm would have been more better.
Flammer in a lot of trouble. No blink to get through. Locked into the Nope cage. But hold on. Element is here to try and save the life of their mid laner. The health bars are super low on Italy. The support and the jungle have fallen down significantly. Conte at half HP. Raichu looking to try and get a bit more in. But I'm looking at the positioning. And this could be a very bad situation for Spain if they try and go on the counter-offensive. Everyone is here.
No Soulstorm either, so they only have Raichu for the engaged. Doctor gets Cat. That's going to be Steel to half HP. The boulders are being thrown in once again, but there's no Colosseum from Conte. He hasn't really got any sort of engage. This is just a case of poke down and see what can happen.
That does favor Spain in theory. They have a shorter walk back into the thing. Up, down, Raichu trying to find a bit of space, but he's the one taking the damage. Instead, first to fall down, but has this created an opening for the rest of his team? Some might say yes, to fall down. Dark Dodo, the third to go. Conte still hanging around in the jungle. There's an opportunity for them to find it. I'm not sure if Murdoch has his ultimate available to him, but Kingmore could maybe take a good snipe out, but it doesn't look like they want to pursue Conte any further. It's a massive turnaround for Spain, and I would 100% trade my support for 3 people any day of the week.
Kingmore putting his role to the name. He is taking the carry, and he is trying to do everything he can. Triple kill on the Murdoch, 7-3. Now, he has to play this game perfectly going forward. He has the damage to deal with Italy's front line. But if he makes a mistake, if he gets a misstep, then that Colosseum's going to land on him. Same with the Kingslayer. There's so much damage that can be followed up from those abilities. So if Kingmore can survive these team fights, Spain has a chance. If he dies, the game is over.
I think we've started to reach that late game point that we were talking about, Falcon. We said earlier on, Spain needs to slow the pace. They need to start scaling. They need to have an opening for this team comp to really come online. And now, here we are, 28 minutes into the game. Relatively even, all things considered now. Multiple players starting to reach that 18 level cap mark. And Spain are really starting to win in these team fights. The lack of armor from Zaris is going to start really hurting him now when he tries to engage solo, because the turn and burn from Spain is just so powerful.
Yeah, just a pure HP on this Zaris. He has got the demo on Kingmore as well, so any sort of armor that would have existed there doesn't really exist any longer. But there is no Sky Splitter on the Murdoch right now. Imagine going to be the 6th item picked up. So the HP is going to be valuable at the moment in time with these Sapers now being taken as well. Seedlings are going to be pushing down on every lane. Italy, they again have to wait, let Spain deal with these seedlings and then pull the trigger. Or Prime has also respawned, so if they go for one objective, it can be traded out. It is a very delicate time for this moment, and if there's any sort of pick that is going to make either team, whoever gets the pick, go for the next objective. Saying that, Aldo, Campo to go to Estos, going for it.
Yeah, why get a pick when you could just do it raw? But Spain has a ward on this. They know what's going on. Italy, they were just testing it out. Raichu now diving in. The wall goes up. The health bars are already falling low. Look at Elements. He's already dead. Capo takes him and deletes him from the map. But Lugia looks like he could be next. Super low HP. Diving forward. Kingmore able to put the nail on that coffin. Raichu up and down, looking to find more space for the rest of his squad. But will just pay for it with his life. Contra in the backline, blinking forward. Everything is happening all at once. But Dark Dodo takes off the carry, and Spain falls apart at the seams. They have to run and hide because right now, Flammer is the only man left standing, and even that won't be for long.
Look at the base, there's so many minions being pushed down. The minions with the seedlings are going to finish the base. That's one inhibitor down, 2 inhibitors to follow suit. Italy, they realize they don't need the objective because the core is going down on its own.
That's it. That's the game, Broken. They have just, after 30 minutes of slow bleeding Spain, after a few minutes of Spain looking like the light is returning to their side of the sky,